Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody had a good day and a great weekend. I had a good day. Let me get this up on the screen so we can see who's on. And let's get that up. There we go. Okay, now I can see you comment. Go ahead and say hello when you come on, so I'll know who's here. And I might have to refresh just to see comments. There we go. Hello, Cynthia. Come on. There we go. All right. So far, Cynthia, you are the only one who has commented. And this is going to drive me crazy. Quit putting that in the middle of my picture, Facebook. Thank you. All right. Okay. So tonight we are going to be using the Butterflies and Flowers Layering Decorative Masks. These are in the mini catalog, and they come in a set of 6 masks. So you get some butterflies and some flowers, and then those are layering ones, and then these are just your regular masks, and then this also will layer. So you will find those in the January to June mini. And we are going to be using this mask and this mask tonight on our first project. So we'll set the rest of those aside. We're also going to be using the Here Together. Hello, Laura. Hello, Jennifer. Thanks for joining. The Here Together bundle. So we'll be using the Here Together stamp set along with the coordinating Here For You dies. And these are courtesy of Tracy. She sent these along to me. So that particular collection is what we call an out of publication collection, and it is available from the 1st of February through the 2nd of May, although we already have some issues with the Natural Tone Stampin' Blends collection. So they're talking about extending this promotion, but they haven't given us a date for when it's going to be extended to. Because you cannot currently order the Stampin' Blends combo pack. You can, however, order some of the individual combo packs, and the ones that you can order still are the Stampin' Blends Deep Combo Pack, the Stampin' Blends Medium Deep Combo Pack, and the Stampin' Blends Medium Combo Pack. The light and the light medium packs are currently sold out. Okay, so, and they're not due back in until April. So just so you know, you can get 3 packs of them. They are on low inventory though, so if you are planning to order and you'd like them soon, it's best to order them sooner than later. All right, so I'm going to set these aside for the moment. And I wanted to show you a couple of other things. So let's talk about, we have another promotion that will be going live on the 1st of March, and that is called the Waves of the Ocean collection. And this particular collection has the Waves of Inspiration stamp set, along with the Waves dies, and you can buy those separately or in a bundle. And if you buy them in a bundle, then you save 10%. Okay. And then you can also order some 12 by 12 paper, some blue foil specialty paper, and some Rhinestone Waves basic jewels. The Designer Series paper, blue foil specialty paper, and the Rhinestone Waves basic jewels are only available while supplies last. And remember, these are going live on the 1st of March. So the Waves of Inspiration bundle will be available in the May to April 2022-2023 annual catalog. Okay, so you can buy all of it together as a collection. You can buy the bundle, you can buy the stamps and dies separate, and you can order each one of those separate. And that's beginning March 1st. Also beginning on March 1st, we have a new promotion called Savings Are in Bloom, and the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, along with the All Squared Away bundle. Art Gallery is being brought back as a bundle in the current catalog, annual catalog. It is not bundled. It will be bundled for this promotion only. Beauty of Friendship bundle is on sale. Celebrate Flowers bundle. This is another one of those that is not currently bundled, but will be bundled for the promotion. Same thing with Garden Wishes. Then you've got the Hydrangea Haven bundle, Pansy Patch, Sweet as a Peach, Seascape, Quiet Meadow, Welcoming Window, What's Cooking, and Wildcats bundles. All of those bundles will be at 20% off, along with the mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. And that promotion goes from the 1st of March through the 31st of March. All right. So I think that catches you up on all of the news. I put my current host code here if you need it. And I did want to show you the February paper pumpkin in case you've never received paper pumpkin and you don't know what they look like. This is what you typically get in a box. You always get a Stampin' Spot. Comes with an exclusive stamp set that you can't find anywhere else. This particular one has a lot of sentiments. Happy birthday, congratulations. You have a you are so, and then you can put fantastic or amazing. There's let's celebrate, you did it, yay. Then you get a cupcake, and this particular frond image coordinates with the Artfully Aware bundle. And then you get a dot, spotty dot. Those are always good for texture. All right. And then this flyer will tell you about the next upcoming kit. So this will be the March kit. And what you need to know about the March kit is it is the anniversary kit. So instead of one stamp set, there will be 2 stamp sets included in that paper pumpkin. Always comes to you in tissue paper. And then all the supplies that you will need to complete the projects along with full colored instructions are included in the kit. Okay, so you get all the embellishments. There's Stampin' Dimensionals in here. If you need adhesive, there's adhesive dots in here. So that'll just give you an idea of what a typical paper pumpkin would look like. And I'm telling you now because in March they're going to raise the price to $23.50 on the individual monthly subscription price. But if you purchase a prepaid 3, 6, or 9 month 3, 6, or 12 month prepaid subscription right now during celebration. You can lock in the current price before the price increases in March, and you can get free celebration rewards on top of that. So just something to think about. All right, I think that is all of the housekeeping. Let's go ahead and get started with our card. Hello, Lynette. Thank you for sharing, Jennifer. Okay, we're going to start tonight with a card base in polished pink. And this was a card that I made actually for a color challenge. And the colors were polished pink, Daffodil Delight, and Coastal Cabana. Or it might have been Bermuda Bay. In any case, I think it might be Bermuda Bay. It doesn't matter whether you use Pool Party or Bermuda Bay, though, for our card purposes. I've already stamped the inside of the card. This particular piece is basic white, cut at 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. And I've already stamped the little sunburst image in Daffodil Delight with some of the heart images in Coastal Cabana. Okay, that's going to be for the inside of our card, so we can set those to aside. And then we're going to have a card layer that we can put on our polished pink. Oh, and this is not it. This is it. Okay, and this piece is cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we'll be able to put that on our card. I'm going to wait to do that though. And then I've got a quarter sheet of basic white, and we're going to do some masking and masking on this. Okay, so I'm starting at the quarter sheet so that I can cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4 later. All right, we'll do that in a minute. Then I have another quarter sheet of the basic black, and I'm going to use this for die cutting. I don't need the whole piece, but I did want to show you. I am going to use the adhesive sheets, and I wanted to show you how to use these in case you don't know how. So I'm going to turn my piece of basic black over. Not that it really matters. And this is the adhesive sheet, and I've cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to peel off the backing, release paper. And then I'm just going to attach this to my cardstock. I'm going to give that a good press. Okay. And I want to really make sure that that gets adhered. All right. We're going to go ahead and do our die cutting, or at least this portion of the die cutting. And like I said, I didn't need the whole sheet, but because this is black and I know I'll use it, I went ahead and did a whole quarter sheet so that I would have some for later. And I'm going to use my mini cut and emboss machine, and the biggest size that I can put through my machine is 3 1/2. But I don't need to waste a bunch of this, so I'm just going to cut this down so that I have plenty. And it will still go through my machine. So I've got that piece of basic black with the adhesive sheet on the back, and what that will do is that when I die cut this, it will make this into a sticker so that I will be able to easily adhere it later. Okay, so we're going to set that aside for the moment until we get ready to die cut the rest of it. We might as well do it all at once. All right, so let's start with our mask. And I need a scrap piece of paper here. You should always work with a scrap piece of paper when you're working with masks. I'm also going to use just a little bit of adhesive so that my paper doesn't move. And then I'm going to start with the less detailed image here. And I'm going to put this on my card. About like, let's see, I had it straight. I'm going to do it just about like this. Okay, now I need to protect my surface because I don't want to ink on these sides. So I'm just going to take some Post-it notes. And I'm going to set those along the edges so I don't ink there, okay? And then I'm going to take a Post-it note and put over these flowers so that I don't ink there. Okay, so this is what I've got so far. And I am going to start with polished pink. Okay. And I'm going to grab my blending brush. Okay. I'm going to rub just a little bit of that off, and I'm trying to get just these two flowers for the most part. So I'm going to do a real light coat. If I get a little bit in the other flowers, it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, and that's good. So I'm going to set this aside for the moment, and I'm going to grab my Coastal Cabana. And I'm going to grab another blending brush. And I'm going to go into those smaller flowers. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this so it's easier for me. All right. So now I'm ready to remove my mask. And this is what I have. Okay. So now I'm going to move down to the more detailed image here. And I'm going to line these up as best as I can. And a little hint here, look for the center of the small flower here. And try to line this up with those sections down there. And if you can do that, you should, oh, maybe I have them the wrong. There we go. Let's get it on the right side. Okay, now we're lining up. So I've got these little sections lined up and this center lined up, and now everything else should work out perfectly. So again, I'm going to cover up what I don't want. To get all inky. But I don't want to cover up what I do want to get inky. Okay, so now I'll go and I'm going to start with my pool party. And I'm going to rub that off just a bit. I'm going to go just a little bit, not pool party, Coastal Cabana. I'm rubbing this with just a little bit more ink than I had before. A little bit more pressure so I get just a little bit more color on there. And that's good. Then we're going to grab our polished pink. and rub a little bit of that off just so I don't get any harsh lines. And then I'm just going to go over that. Okay. And again, I'm going to turn my paper. All right. And then I'm going to close those ink pads up so I don't have a disaster. Okay. And here is our image. All right. So that looks pretty nice. But we're going to take this just a little step further. So I've got an awfully lot of white background. So ahead of time, I've taken and pre-cut out a mask that I made myself. And I'm going to put this down on here, which is not going to come out exactly like I want it. I see, that's okay. Cover up the majority of this. No, that's not coming out the same way. As it did before. I have an awful lot of white left over. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to put a little curve in here. This is how I improvise. And I'm going to cover that up just like that. Okay? And then I'm going to take my daisy looking mask, and I am going to place this down on over my white. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of temporary on this, just so it doesn't move. Doesn't matter if it's perfectly masked or not. We're going to get a nice background. Okay. So now I'm going to take a little bit of Post-it tape and I'm just going to tape the mask down, making sure that I don't cover up my cardstock. Just so my mask doesn't move. Now you can do this or you cannot. I don't want my mask moving, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, next I'm going to take some Daffodil Delight. And again, I'm going to ink up my blending brush. Take a little bit of that ink off. I'm going to start over on the edges. And I'm going to try to leave a little bit of white space around my inking. And I want a variation in the color. So I'm going to do some a little bit darker than others. All right. Now let's take a look and see if we're happy with that. I'm going to leave this one hinged up here. And I'm just going to take and lift this up and see what I think. And I am pretty happy with that. Okay. So now I've taken and not only have I made my image, but I've also made my own designer series paper around that image. So now I can lift up all of this. And this is now the main focal image of our card. Okay. So, all right. So this is what we're going to start to work with. So we're going to go ahead and cut this down now to 4 by 5 1/4. And this is where I can look and see, did I get that exactly in the center? Do I want to move it over a little bit? What do I want to do? And I think I did pretty well getting it in the center. So I'm just going to cut an 1/8 inch off of each side. Oh, I think I'm going to cut a little bit more off the bottom. If I go 5 1/4, I think that'll look, yeah, I think that'll look pretty good. Okay, and then I can cut the 1/8 off of here to get it the 4th. Now you can see why I left it. That gives me the leeway to center up and move my image how I wish. All right, so this piece is actually ready to put on our card layer. So we'll just take a little bit of Stampin' Seal and add that. And I only have an 1/8 inch border here, so it's pretty narrow. And then I'm going to add this to my card front. Now, you could just add a sentiment at this point and be done. And you would have a very nice looking card. Okay. But oh, hang on, I should have done this. I was going to take my envelope while I had that mask out and the ink. Let's step back just a second here. And I'm going to put this mask along the bottom of my envelope. Okay. And let me get my Post-it notes here. All right. Now I'm going to take that yellow again. This time I'm just going to hold it down. Whoops. It'd be a good idea to actually hold the mask and not the Post-its. And that will get you there. Okay. So now our envelope coordinates with our card front. Easy way to do your envelope. Okay? Because there's no naked envelopes. All right, so the envelope is now finished. Let's get a scrap piece of basic white. And we're going to take the hands image. Actually, I'm gonna run this just along here like so. I'm gonna take my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm gonna ink that up. And I'm gonna stamp that down. Remember, this is just a scrap. And I'm going to go ahead and chop this off because I don't need the whole thing and I want that ink to dry for a second. All right. Now we're going to take our Natural Tones Stampin' Blends. And I'm going to use SU 9000. Okay. And I'm just going to give this a quick color. With the SU 9000. I'm going to go down into the wrists a little bit because when you die cut this, it leaves just a little bit at the bottom. Okay. Now for this, I'm going to come back with my brush tip. And I'm just going to fill this in. Okay. And then I'm going to let that dry for just a second. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to add a little bit of shading, all with the same color. Just by applying a little bit extra along this area right here. Okay. And then I'm just going to leave that. All right, now we're ready for the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So we're going to die cut this out. This has a coordinating die that cuts out that center part, and as you can tell, you want to check before you die cut to make sure that you went far enough down. Okay, so we've got those two to die cut. So let's bring in the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And remember, this little machine goes on sale beginning March 1st. Okay, so we're going to go with this one. And I'm going to add add a piece of Post-it tape just to make sure it doesn't move too much. Okay, and then we'll run that through. Oh, gotta back this plate up. You have to stagger the plates on this machine or they don't want to go through. Might want to catch. Okay, so there are hands. And as you can tell, it cut the center out. And then the next thing that we need to die cut is our sentiment. So we're going to put this back in the machine. We're going to take that You Matter with the black and the adhesive sheet. And you always want to make these go in a little crooked if you can, so that they don't get caught on the roller blades. Okay, now because I have adhesive sheet on this, I'm going to go backwards because I want to be sure that that's going to cut through both layers. And before I pop that up, I want to turn it over and look to make sure that I'm fully cut. And it looks like I might be good, but I'm going to do it one more time just to be safe, because I want to make sure that cuts all the way through the backing. All right. So there are our pieces. Okay, so now I can go ahead and pop this out of the hair. This is a very intricate die. So these little letters are going to try to hold on to each other. Okay, let's see. Pull that. There we go. All right. So let's look at our card. This is going to go in here, and I want to catch the pink of that rose with this. And then let's pop out these little pieces that we have. You can see how intricate that is. Come on. I think the backing paper is stuck in there. Well, let's see. Yeah, it's the release paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these out. Like so. And then I won't have to worry about them if the release paper's still there, it won't matter. This way I won't have to fight them later. Okay. Let's see if we can get those to pull out with the release paper. Okay, so I'm just taking my take your pick tool along the edge there. And I'm going to gently remove the release paper. And if I do it gently, it should pull those little black pieces that are cut out. And not tear my die. Okay, there we go. Let's get this off of here. Get these little black pieces up before they stick to my desk. All right. Now I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm going to set this down gently. The nice thing about this adhesive sheet is until you really burnish it, you can move it around. Okay, so I am happy with that. And now I'm going to take my bone folder And I'm just going to rub over the top. And now that's burnished and it won't come back up. All right, time to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals. Apparently I've got some of those that are cut all the way through. And then I could grab my minis, but I'm just going to save a little bit of time here, and I'm going to cut one of my large ones in half to put down here in the hand. Okay, so now we can add this to our project. All right, grab those backing papers. Put this like so. We'll add our inside panel. And now our card is finished. All right, I hope you guys liked that project. Okay. So for our next project, we're going to be using the Catching Butterflies. And we have a fancy fold. Let's get our images done and then I'll show you the fancy fold. Okay? So we need a piece of designer series paper that is 5 1/4 by 12, and this particular piece of paper comes from the Friendly Hello Celebration paper that that also comes in a bundle with the Friendly Hello stamp set. Let me see if I can find that really quickly for you. No, I'm not sure where oh, there it is. Okay. So this is the stamp set that coordinates with that paper, and you get that free with a $100 purchase. All right. And to save us some time, I've already stamped and colored most of and cut out, because you have to fussy cut, our little image from the Catching Butterflies. So we've got that image. And we've already stamped our envelope. So we've got that. And then we're going to go ahead. We've got a piece of Pool Party. And this piece is cut at 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. And we have a piece of basic white. This is cut at 3 by 4 1/4. All right, so those are our papers. We can set aside our envelope because we don't need that at the moment. And let's get started with our stenciling. Okay, well, I want to set that where I don't have, let me clean this stamp real quick. So I almost set my paper right on top of it. And that would not be good. Okay, so we're going to take the a piece of basic white. We're going to get our scrap paper again. And again, I'm going to attach this so it doesn't move. And this time, we are using the butterfly mask, which is very appropriate with this stamp set, I thought. So we've got this mask that's the butterfly. Okay. So we're going to put this on, and it's not going to fit completely on our paper, but that's okay. It's the way I designed it. So I'm going to mask this off where I don't want. Let me move that down a second here. I don't want to mask off the antennas, but I definitely want to mask off the flower. Okay. And then I'm going to get another mask, or another mask, and cover up the lower portion of this butterfly. And then I'm going to grab a piece of Post-it tape so my mask doesn't move. Okay. And this time we're using Pool Party and Coastal Cabana. So we're going to start with the Pool Party. I'm going to clean this off a little bit because my blending brush. And I just take my blending brush on a towel and rub off some of that color. And that's looking pretty good on my paper. So I'm going to get some ink on here, rub it off. And I'm going to be careful with the little antenna portion and these little tiny little pieces here. So I don't want to bend those. All right, and I think that looks just about good. Okay, so we're done with the Pool Party. We'll grab the Coastal Cabana. And we're going to move our mask. And we're going to put the more detailed image now on top of that. And I'm going to I'm lining up my body parts here. And you probably can't see those through the mask, but I can. And then, of course, I'm going to mask off what I don't want inked accidentally. And then I'm going to get my Coastal Cabana, and I don't need to clean between because these are in the same color families. And then I'm just going to put on some ink in the detailed part of this. Okay. And that is all we need to do for that. Now we're going to pull our mask up. And this is what we have. Now those masks you can wipe off with a baby wipe, or you can run them under water in your sink. Okay, to this now we're going to add the butterfly image from the Catching Butterflies. And we're also going to take the sentiment, celebrate every beautiful thing. I'm going to stamp that right down here before I do anything more so that I can ensure that I have room for my sentiment. I'm just going to put that down here in the corner. Count to 3. Lift that up. Beautiful. Then I'm going to take my butterflies and I'm going to put these up here like so. All right. And then I'm going to switch my ink. I'm going to take just a little bit of crumb cake, and there is this small little image for the ground, and I'm going to add that down here where I'm going to have my girl stand. Okay, so I'm just going to put her kind of like this. So I'm going to want this to be down here near the bottom. I'm going to take this, and what did I do with my little scrap paper? Oh, I set it way over. I'm going to stamp this off because I don't want it to be too dark. And then I'm just going to put this down here like so. And yep, that's going to work perfect. All right. Now I'm going to finish coloring her hair. And I used, with my Stampin' Blends, I colored the netting in light crumb cake. Her dress is done in the light and dark fresh freesia. Okay. I did her skin tone in that SU 9000 again. Okay. And then I'm going to do her hair in SU 500 and SU 600. Now, with the skin tone collection, what do we call it? That's not exactly what they call it. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, oh, thanks, Laura. I'm gonna, when the numbers go from the darkest to the lightest. Okay, so SU 600 is actually lighter than SU 500. So I'm going to start with my SU 600. And I am going to just color in some of these areas. Okay. And you can tell that the SU 600 has a redder tone to it. The SU 500 will have a yellower tone. So then I'm going to go back and I'm just going to fill in some of those areas so that my hair has lighter and darker shades. Okay. Now, I would actually recommend that you do this before you cut it, but I didn't want you to have to watch me cut it out, so I did mine beforehand. All right, so now I have her hair done, okay? So then I'm going to bring in my focal image piece, and I'm going to take the pale papaya light and dark, and I'm also going to take the light and dark Pool Party. And I'm going to do a few. I'm going to start with the light, and then I'm going to add the dark, but I'm not going to do every butterfly in the pale papaya. Okay, I'm just going to mix and match here. Go back with my dark, and I'm just going to fill in the centers here. And I'm not even going back to blend. I'm just going to leave it just like that, and I'm going to do the same thing with the Pool Party. I'm going to do my light first. And if you leave white spots, it doesn't matter. It'll just give you some highlights. All right. So there's that. And this is now ready to be added. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and pop this on our panel here. And I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal. Okay. And then I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals. Do not like it when the Stampin' Dimensionals don't come off correctly. Just going to do this, and then I'm going to grab a mini to put way out here. Okay. Now let's go ahead and get those backings off. And we'll add this to our card. Image here. Like that. Okay, and now we can set this stuff aside and we can move on to the fun fold portion of our card. Okay. Well, let's put this up here so I can find it later. So now we've got a card base and Pool Party, and this is a quarter panel. So it is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You need a full quarter sheet. This is going to be your card base. And then we're going to take that piece of Designer Series paper from the Friendly Hello, and we're going to do some scoring on this. Okay, so we're going to bring out our scoring tool. Try and put this down here where you can see. Okay, now if this gets too confusing for you, just score all on the same side. It won't really hurt it. But I'm going to score on the front side of my card, okay, at 4 inches, because this is the pattern I want out. So I'm going to score this at 4 inches. I'm going to flip it 180 and score it again at 4. Okay, you with me so far? Then I'm going to turn my paper to the wrong side, and I'm going to score this at 2. Turn it 180 and score it again. Okay? So from the front side, those measurements again are 4 and 4. Flip it over, 2, and 2. Or if you want to simplify it, you could do 2, 4, 8, and 10. The reason why I'm doing it from each end is if my paper is just a little bit short of 12 or a little bit longer than 12, my measurements will be exact on each piece by doing it from each end, the same measurement from each end. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to score my 4 and 8, which are the ones that I scored on the top. I'm going to turn that valley score into a mountain and burnish that with my bone folder. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the one that I scored here. So the 2 inside scores, you can say, you're going to turn those valley scores into mountains, okay? Then we're going to fold on the outside scores the opposite direction. And again, we're going to take that score and score the opposite direction. Try to line up your edges just in case your scores aren't perfect. And then you should have something that looks like this. Okay? So now we're going to take this card, this layer, and we're going to attach it to our card base. And I'm going to center that up and get this down here toward me just a little bit, just so I have an even border all the way around. Okay, and then I'm going to give that a good press again. So now we've got that attached to our card base. I'm going to open this up. Ahead of time, I took an additional piece of cardstock, the basic white and the pool party, and I did the same thing. So when you go to make your card, do 2 of the same at the same time. And then this is going to become the inside of my card. And I'm just going to put that down. I'm not going to put a sentiment on the inside at this point because my sentiment on the outside is celebrate every beautiful thing. So I could use this for a birthday card, a graduation card, a thank you card even, because if somebody does something nice, let's celebrate the beautiful thing. So you can do whatever. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this on the inside of my card. And again, this is a 3 by 4 1/4, and the pool party then is 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. And I'm just going to put that in there. That's what I've got. Now for my focal image, I'm going to put this on the front, but I don't want to glue my front together, so I'm only going to put glue on the left side of the back, which when I flip it over is going to be the right side. And I don't want to put any adhesive past the halfway mark here. So I'm going to run my seal, ensuring that I don't go past the halfway mark. And then I'm going to center this up. Like so. And make sure I didn't have any adhesive sticking out. And now this is my fun fold card. Okay. So remember, the Designer Series paper, the Friendly Hello pack, and the Catching Butterfly stamp sets are celebration, and they're only good through the 28th of February, 2022, and can only be gotten free with a qualifying purchase. So here is our card. I wanted to show you, I made another card with some retired DSP actually. So here's what it would look like if you used like the Pattern Party DSP on the black and white side. That makes a pretty beautiful card. And I use the butterflies here rather than masking. So there's that. And then I have one more card that I made with this fun fold. And it uses the Art in Bloom stamp set. And this one I put a ribbon behind my DSP when I put it down so that I could tie it shut. And then this is this one. And this is the Pattern Party Designer Series paper, and I just used some sponge daubers to color those flowers. Okay. So there's just some ideas that you can use this fun fold for. And if you don't like it to pop open, you can add a ribbon. Just make sure when you're adding your ribbon that you make sure that you add it behind this piece and not this piece, because if you put it behind this piece, then you won't be able to open your card. Ask me how I know this. All right. So here are our cards that we made tonight. I hope you enjoyed those projects. I'm glad you liked the fun fold. All right, everybody. I will see you again on Tuesday. Remember, Monday is the end of celebration. If you still need to get a few things, go ahead and use the host code. And Lynette will thank you for that. All right. Until next Tuesday, everybody have a fabulous week, and I'll see you again. Good night.